Can you hear us?
Hello. There we go. Hello.
I heard me
Mark.
then.
Did you?
I think so.
Yourself.
No, I don't know I don't know what it was.
I'm guessing you. I don't know. YouTube. I don't know. Whatever. Was it just an echo? Was it just yourself? Hopefully, there's no echo now.
Yeah, I can't hear myself now. There was a very brief flash. I think it was me. But anyway, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Not important. How is everybody this evening out there? Oh, well, there is an echo. Andrew says there is an echo.
Well, it says there was an echo. I don't know if there is now.
Okay.
Maybe there isn't. I don't know. Just now got to wait for him to say there isn't an echo. We both have strange echoes.
Is there an echo? Is there an echo? We both have a strange echo.
Can anybody else hear Andrew's echoes, or is he just a bit high? No, there isn't.
No, there isn't.
I think Andrew's.
Did you have it on two windows at once, slightly behind each other?
How odd, says Andrew, but never mind.
How are you doing this evening, Andrew? Did you have a nice holiday? You were away last week. We missed you. Horned Rat Minis did not have an echo.
There we go.
Would you trust what the Horned Rat said, though?
Yes.
Look at one.
Mr. Wolf says he's up to. We used to waking up at a stupid o'clock thanks to us and Andy. Well, I mean, if it were the other way around, I would definitely turn us off and go back to bed at that time in the morning.
Especially tonight. It's going to be rubbish. I don't know what any of you are doing here. Oh, I know. Hang on.
Andrew did accidentally have both windows open.
Called it. Mr. IT, that's me.
We've got Anthony Boyd, hello. We've got Horror at Minis, as you mentioned. Obviously, Mr. Morph and Mr. Marlowe in the house. Welcome to you all. I don't know, it's going to be a rather random affair of what we're going to be chatting about today. I don't think we've got really any plans, which is so unlike us, really.
Normally, everything's planned down to the T. Every minute is accounted for on the schedule.
Obviously, yeah.
Tonight we're going to wing it, which will be very unusual.
Yeah, it's not like us at all. I mean, that's how we've managed to open Gaz in the house. You know, our attention to detail is obviously what's won us our horde of fans in the first place. So they will be upset to see us completely, making shit up as we go along this evening.
Okay. Yes. Why not? So I guess with the title was Gencon worth the wait? Perhaps we won't answer that question straight away. What was everybody's favourite announcement of Gencon? All 9 of you watching now.
Well, if you're watching this later on or whatever, then do stick in the comments below what was your standout announcement from Gencon.
And we do specifically mean Games Workshop, but we'll take anything. We just might not be able to comment on it. Great. We can talk about Blitzbold Dread Zone.
was there anything else big at Gencon 2021? I know very little about Gencon other than that.
No, I think because it was a half affair, then I think that it's been a bit muted. And I think I'm not sure, but I don't think Asmodee were there because they did Fantasy Flight and AMG did their stuff in the run up to Gencon. So AMG announced all those new models, I think, for Marvel Crisis Protocol, and there was a couple of new Fantasy Flight, new Star Wars, not Fantasy Flight, new Star Wars models from them too. And then Fantasy Flight announced a new Marvel Champions box with this Spider Mars Morales and Spider Gwen in, which looks quite cool. But as I keep buying that stuff and not playing it, I probably ought to stop.
But that's like 90% of the hobby is buying stuff and not playing with it.
I know, and I keep thinking, I should do this, and I just I don't know where the time goes. It just evaporates every day. Well,
that's what having kids does, basically.
Yeah, and a wife.
And a wife.
Yeah.
Although I try not to pay attention to her, really.
we've had workmen in this week as well, which makes things trickier. They always want quite to ask questions. But we are getting new windows, which is nice because winter's coming. It was getting a bit chilly.
Oh, what, in your back conservatory sort of bit there?
Well, we're not doing the conservatory. For those of you who don't know my house at all, it's a very interesting conversation. But no, we're getting getting new bay windows at the front.
Okay.
We're getting a couple of other replaced at the back.
I see. So, I mean, for anybody who joined in to not talk about Robin's house improvements, Gencon is
New
obviously
carpet this week as well. So
Oh.
very exciting. Yeah.
very nice. We're actually getting our bathroom redone sometime in about 2-3 weeks' time. They're going to be starting on it, and that and a new boiler is going to cost me like 15 grand. It's just horrific. I need to change profession. They say that we're going to have a dearth of handymen and plumbers and electricians and stuff. So maybe I should swap
careers.
swap career now.
Yeah, maybe I should, although I'm terrible at that sort of thing.
I don't
But
think
yeah,
you'd be that good.
the materials as well. Cost of materials gone through the roof because we're also having a new patio and decking put in, and it's going to cost us a lot more now than it would have done if we'd done it a couple of years ago. But never mind.
Morph says 15 grand. Fuck me. Well, I'm not paying 15 grand for it. That's all I'm going to say. And everyone's asking who am I having to do my bathroom? I know some guy called Ian. I don't really know him that much. I've never met him before. Apart from that,
I think he might mean where it's coming from. I could be wrong.
Oh, I see. I don't know. He sources it all himself.
Okay.
So
Okay.
he comes in, gives you loads of stuff to read through, and you pick what you want, and then he comes and does it all for you. So, yeah, less faff. So anyway.
Should we talk about games rather than bathroom?
Okay, I guess we should.
Yeah.
I guess we probably should.
Okay.
So Gencon happened. Kind of the first day was kind of like seemed to be much more like explosive with what they were going on about, and then after the first day it was like, oh, we've got these other bits, and that was kind of it. Really.
Yeah, I mean, at the risk of being vulgar, they did blow their load early, didn't they?
They did seem to.
They sort of, yeah. I mean, I was everybody was excited for it. Yeah. I mean, the first announcement, all the new Kill Team stuff and all the new Harrowdeep Warhammer Underworld stuff. Yeah, it was. I didn't expect all that quite so quickly. It was annoying. Actually, the email came.
I've lost your audio, Robin.
I've lost my audio.
Yeah, I can't hear you at all. Oh, there we go. Now I can hear you.
I'm back. I'm back.
Don't know what you did.
I don't know what that was. Anyway, Milky's in. Hello, Milky.
Milky.
Yeah, sorry. So I was just saying that. I was really surprised how quickly all the good stuff was announced on the Thursday. It must have been because I was at the swimming bath with my son.
I think it was both of them. There was the Harrowdeep and the Kill Team stuff all got splooged in one day.
Yeah, exactly. And then following on from that was perhaps a little bit anticlimactic. So I mean, the Black Templars, they look quite nice models, but don't particularly interest me because we don't play. Well, apparently, I never got lost. Apparently, the Black Templars, it's good if you play 40k. You want to play Black Templars, I suppose. The Blood Bowl miniatures are very nice.
They are nice.
Taken with those.
Yeah, I quite like them, but given I'm never going to play Blood Bowl, and they don't have rules in Blitz Bowl, I'm never going to play those, so I'm never going to buy them.
Okay.
I've got fairly good these days at tempering my sudden desire to buy stuff. I'm probably more likely to buy a couple of paints or things that I don't really have a great necessity for than models, I think, these days.
Yeah, I think we're kind of in a groove with the channel, aren't we, in the models? So kind of, there's plenty coming the channel without stepping outside of that.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, I think the last purchase I made of something that I bought that I haven't actually used were the Cawdor. There was the Redemptionists.
Right,
so
okay.
I bought those. They're still in a box on the shelf, and they probably won't ever come out of that box now. So, maybe I'll chuck them on eBay at some point.
Yeah, it's a shame. I would love to keep up the Necromunda, but I can't see there being room in our lives for Necromunda and Kill Team. I keep toying with the idea of trying to convert Necromunda to Kill Team, but it's too big a project for me.
Yeah, I feel like if they could produce Kill Team rules for Necromunda, that would do me much better. I think the much simplified stat line and for the most part, much simplified play style, the system of it works better than Necromunda for me.
I think so. I mean, there's a lot of modifiers in Kill Team, but I think just generally it's a slightly slicker system. I guess it's not as old. Slightly slicker system, and the campaign system is easier to fathom.
Yeah.
So it will be really fun to to play with the gangs, but using the kill team rules. I don't know how it would work. I guess you just have to have more terrain. I don't know how it would work on not Arena Mortis. So Mortalis tiles, or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to see. I'm sure there's somebody feverishly working on it. So maybe it'll appear in the community, and we can give it a go. So we painted all those models up, and we were all poised to go, and then we were locked down. So that was almost a year ago. Yeah. In fact, my Delac with all the nameplates on came up on my Google Photos from being a year ago. So we were all ready to go. I think we played one game, and then we couldn't meet for 6 months, and then we forgot how to play.
Then we forgot to play. Then we played the game, and it was all right, but it took us ages. And then, I mean, it's also that the post-game stuff is so much more complex with Necromunda, and it's like, okay, kill team isn't actually particularly tricky in between games.
I actually was dreading it, and I thought, I'm going to have to set aside a couple of hours to work out what happens. And actually, it's really not very difficult.
you roll a dice for injuries for anyone who was taken out, and most it's like 2+ you're okay, and on a 1 you roll another D6 table, and then anybody who
I had 4 people taken out or something. I rolled 2 1s. Very annoying.
I had 7 taken out in that game, and the one person who'd gained 2 XP took an injury, and he got the concussion one, which basically means he loses all his XP, but he doesn't keep any. He doesn't retain the injury, so at least he's got that much. So.
Well, we haven't really talked about the campaign system, which we're getting off a little bit off topic, but I quite like the fact that it's very independent of the result. That sounds a bit of an odd thing to say, but actually, you don't get anything. You don't gain anything. You being I don't know if people haven't watched the video yet, but the winner doesn't gain anything over the loser particularly. I guess they might have more chance of getting a few more XP. They don't particularly gain anything extra, so you don't fall behind too much on the campaign stuff. So it's quite good. And so I'm looking forward to developing. We haven't got very far. One game. It's you could play a lot of games before you start leveling anybody up.
Yeah, you could definitely play for quite a while before you're going to actually have anybody get noticeably better or different, I feel. Sorry, I'm just trying to find new headphones because my headphones have just told me I need to charge them.
Boop, boop. So Brad P says we could totally port Necromunda to the new kill team, sort of the inverse of what they did with AOS models in Warcry.
Keep talking, Robin. I'll be back in a minute.
Alright, I'm sure it's for somebody with time and a slightly better brain than me, I reckon it's more than possible. So hopefully somebody will do that. Brad is Milky and Brad are discussing Dead Zone. VJ or Morph would love us to play Dead Zone, and I have got as far as downloading the rules. So maybe that will happen. I don't know. We struggle a little bit for views generally. So the thought of putting a lot of time and effort into something that isn't got sort of vague guaranteed viewership is a tough one. But I would like to give it a go, especially if it's model independent. I don't particularly like the models that are available for the game, but I think that's because I've been spoiled by GW models. And so, is Rosa in? Oh, Rosa's in. He's just got out of the bath. There's an image we didn't need. He's going to watch us on YouTube before bed. Hello, Rosa. Nice to see you. Haven't seen you for ages. How's Curse City going? Rosa's been playing Curse City at Warhammer, making the envy of a lot of people. So I hope it's going all right. And so then there's just general. What I'd say, kill team is just Dead Zone made way more complicated. I need to read these rules, don't I? And I think that's what I'm learning. But whether I'll find time, I don't know. I have just been sent, and I need to read this probably ahead of the Dead Zone rules. I've been sent the new Champions of Death book by Cubicle 7 for. So it's basically how to play characters from a death background in Soulbound. Not that I've played Soulbound, but I'm really interested to see how that's going to work. So that and the Dead Zone rulebook I've both got on PDF, which I need to read. Yes. So Pete's, I don't know what Pete's doing.
Oh, hold on, Robin. I don't think anyone can hear you now, so I just need to sort that out because just gonna leave these headphones up here for now. Pain in my arse. Right. Hopefully everyone can hear you now. Say something.
Hello, can you hear
There
me
we
now?
go. You're back in the room. And
I'm
continue.
I only seem to be half on the screen though.
Yes, I saw that. Sorry.
Okay. The minis in the new 3-point box look great. I'd say give it a go. If it takes off, great. I know if you guys did a dead zone, it'd spread it around.
Hopefully everyone can hear us and see us and everything again now. Sorry about that. My fucking headphones decided to run out.
Okay.
We've got Ed in the house.
Hello, Ed.
And a Rosa.
Hello,
I didn't
Ed.
see Rosa. Hello, Rosa. What did you talk about whilst I was gone, Robin?
I don't know. I just talked. You know what I'm like. The mouth worked. The brain didn't particularly connect with it, and I just kept going. Pushed on through. Hey, Rosa is going to be in more now. He's not up at 4 a.m. Woo! Maybe I should get in touch with Mantic and see whether they would kindly send us a Dead Zone 3 box on the off chance. We could compare it to Kill Team and things.
I mean, we've got the rules, haven't we? So, I mean, we could play...
I have. There's this new version 3 coming, which I assume
I see.
will be different.
Yeah, could be, possibly.
If not different, then tweaked. Tweak.
It doesn't sound like they made too many different changes. I mean, there's something about cover in there that they say they've changed line of sight or something. I didn't read up on it very much. The problem I have is the models just don't... I know GW have really spoiled us with their model quality. They look fantastic. But I now look at all other competitors' model ranges for the most part, and I just think they look a bit crap. And and they might not be, and there's nothing to say that I think they are, bad quality. They're probably a ton cheaper than GW as well, but I just look at the models and I think they just don't look as good.
Yeah, it is a problem. Yeah, I think it's a problem. I think that's why GW kind of rule the roost, because their models are top notch. Although other competitors are catching up, maybe.
I think there are other people.
I don't know who Ronnie is, but maybe I'll catch up with you behind the scenes. You can fill me in.
Yeah, there are other people catching up, but I still think that just as people start to close that gap, GW they do something else which is on a whole nother level again, and I just think their models are untouchable at the minute.
It makes them difficult to play with.
Yeah, I mean, every now and then they'll do something like a Sisters of Battle face problem where you look at it.
I've heard that, sons of bitches.
There are a few bits like that. Every now and then there'll be a model which will have a very questionable part of it, but it's like a 1 or 2 in a sea of hundreds of gorgeous models. But I mean, they say like 3D printing STLs and stuff like that are catching up. I just don't think they're as sharp still as GW. They've been catching up for years, but what will they call that in a race is being behind. GW is still in front, so
it's like Formula 1, isn't it?
Yeah. Basically.
Yeah.
Any race analogy you like, you can be constantly catching up first place, but if that's all you're doing, you're still second place at least. And
Well, he is the boss man at Mantic. Actually, Pete, I was just thinking of things we need to do, perhaps before we contact Mantic. Finish our game of this.
Oh, God, too, yeah.
Yeah. We need to do our final 3-on-3.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. I think I'm going to lose horribly again, and then I can put all those models back in a case and be happy that chapter's over.
I really enjoy the game, so maybe I need to come along and play. Maybe I enjoyed it because I won. And there's no dice. I know there are dice, but there's less dice.
There are definitely less dice, and there's a lot less rules. And I wonder if that's the problem I have, is that GW rules are like, number of rules are up here, and like God tier, the rules were like down here somewhere, and I need something here. I want a level of customizability, something that makes me feel like I'm doing something and being able to do something, but that I can remember it all. Whereas GW stuff is constantly going, which book is that in? Which printout is that on? Which fucking book? Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I'd agree with that. I like the God tier. It was very simple.
It was nice and simple.
Yeah.
The problem is, maybe for me it was maybe too simple, but maybe it's just the warband matchups we've got. I mean,
yeah.
The other problem, I know we're nowhere near the topic for this evening, but fuck it, we're here now. I tried to look up stuff about, you know, the warbands for God tier and stuff like that. If you googled stuff like that for GW, you'd have mountains of pages and blogs and discussions. I really struggled to find very much with Gencon, with God tier. There really wasn't a huge amount of information out there for it.
No, I think there's been a bit. They've struggled a bit, obviously, because of the pandemic. I think they basically released it, and then the world shut down. I don't think that there is much play of it. Obviously, there hasn't been any competitive play of it, even if such a thing was going to exist. So I think that's an issue. But yes, I would agree, and that's the other thing with stuff, because that's the thing people are interested in playing, and we could see that just from our videos on talking about Gencon, that we got many views of people just excited and interested in what GW were doing.
Yeah.
That other companies, with the possible exception of like if you play D&D or Magic or that kind of thing, that there's really big ones. Other companies just don't attract that level of attention. AMG is getting there. Marvel Crisis Protocol creates a lot of buzz. I guess you've got the Marvel aspect there too, and I think that game seems to be pretty good. So we're hoping to bring that to the channel in one form or other in the next 6 months and the next few weeks. So that'd be interesting. But
I'm just wondering, if I go and look for videos from Marvel Crisis Protocol to see what kind of things we're looking at out there. I mean, there's people like Guerrilla Games. He did a video in 2019, so that was a while ago now. 2 years now, actually. It was nearly.
That'd be when it first came out.
It's got about 50,000 views on, which isn't. It's not bad, but that's 2 years worth of time.
It's not bad. It's like 10 times more than we normally get on anything.
10 is about try about 100. But then, like, he did another one which has like 9,000 from 2 years ago. So it's hard to tell if it's a massively. Some other people did stuff from 2 years ago that's only got maybe 3,000 hits on. So I think it's one of those things that if you're a big channel, you might get more hits about it, but he'll get less hits on that than if he were to do a 40k thing or like Kill Team or something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I think it has a following, but I think it's a growing following, and obviously the more models they produce, the more it generates a following, and also obviously Marvel huge at the moment. Every time we turn around, there's a new Marvel.
Yep.
VJ's neatly given me a segue back into what we were going to talk about. The Warcry teaser, he said it has him interested. I think for me, it was probably the least interesting of all the announcements, but I suppose it was the kind of least information announcement as well.
Yeah, it was purely
didn't really. It was a very, very bad rhyme.
It was terrible.
Over some funky-ish graphics that said that there were going to be spiders. Robin's audio is clipping out a bit for me. Anyone else? Is my audio clipping out?
It was a little bit. It might be your Discord audio sort of.
I thought I changed that.
You did last time, but that doesn't mean it hasn't changed it back again.
Okay, let's have a look.
Discord's a bit shit like that.
Do I want it?
Milky says that he can't hear it at all. I was quite interested by the Warcry thing. It made me think, I wonder what they come up with, some kind of spider-based thing. Are there going to be Chaos Dwarves in there or something like that? But then it was Warcry, so I was like,
I can't remember what I want to do with this, Pete. Do I want
go to your audio settings?
Automatically determine input sensitivity off or on?
Yeah, off, and just drag the bar all the way down to the bottom.
All the way down to 0 or?
Yeah.
Sorry, minus 100? Right,
yeah.
Okay. Yes, it had reset.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Thought it would have.
There we go.
I think the minute you unplug something and then plug it back in later, it'll reset things. Try and be helpful.
Helpful. Okay, so hopefully, Ed, I'm not getting clipped now.
Doesn't look like it.
Good. So where were we? Sorry.
Warcry. We were talking about Warcry and the spider thing. I mean, I was sort of interested in it, mostly from just I wonder what race they're going to bring out next in Warcry. I'm not really expecting it to be here's Warcry version 2.0 or anything like that.
No, not yet. I mean, I'm interestingly, I'm totally expecting that this time next year, or August next year. That seems to be when they do their big boxes, and we've got Kill Team this year. I think we might get Warcry next year.
I mean, maybe that's what they're doing. They're just starting the hype now for next year.
Maybe. Quite a long way to go, though. I think people would be desperate for their spider dudes.
Yeah, but you know, this is GW. They like to get that.
True, but they brought out a Kill Team box not that long ago, didn't they? And then completely rebooted it. So I'm not sure they could easily have a new Warcry box and then completely reboot it next year. I don't think it needs rebooting in the same way as Kill Team did, though.
True.
I think if they do bring a version 2 out, it'll be only small tweaks, I think.
I mean, it was Lazarus is in. Hello, Lazarus. I think it was Maliki who was saying that the last version of the tournament rules for Warcry were much better than the previous one.
Okay.
Okay. So maybe it doesn't need it. I personally think that the rules for Warcry, the actual how you play it, for the most part works really well, apart from the whole random setup at the start, which I kind of don't like so much.
Yeah. We've talked about Warcry before. There was something I didn't like about it. I've never quite been able to put my finger on it, which I haven't found with Kill Team, and I don't know why.
I wonder if, because we had that discussion the other day, I wonder if it's just because we're in a different place, play-wise.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that, but I think there was just something about the way the attacks and the quads and the things work I didn't like. I think actually I was thinking about this the other day, and I think it might be. I just made a flippant comment to Matt, I think it was, in the chat on the Patreon Discord, and they had all those symbols that were really similar.
Oh yeah.
And there was no, and I understand why they did it, but there was no real text on anything, and you kind of had to just match up the pictures, and I think that actually ended up leaving me a bit cold, and that's why I didn't like it. I think there was one warband in particular that I had. It might have been the Stormcast one. I couldn't tell very easily at all which fighter was meant to have could use which option, and I thought that was rich.
I think it was the Undead was like one of the symbols looked like a skull in an 8-pointed star, and another one was like an 8-point star with a different type of skull in it. I was saying it was just they were so similar. You just sitting there going, which one is which again? Yeah,
and I think that's just something silly like that. I think just and the other things we talked about before just switched me off a little bit. So inevitably, I suppose I was a bit meh about the Warcry announcement because I don't play it and haven't really got much chance of playing it anytime soon. I think if I was going to play a fantasy skirmish game, I think at the moment, interestingly, having Morph always going on about Dead Zone, I think if I was going to play a fantasy skirmish game, I'd probably go and find a different one by somebody else, like Frostgrave or something.
Interesting. John Grant has just pointed out maybe the Grot Scuttlings from Silver Tower will make a comeback with the Gloomspike Gits are always popular for that Warcry setting. And
I don't remember what they were like.
They were just the little goblins, but they had like 6 legs or something like that.
Oh yes.
But interestingly, if they are going to be like that, that's an immediate turn off for me because I didn't like those scuttling things at all.
Right.
Ed
said Frostgrave question mark. Does that mean that you're suggesting?
Have you thought about it, or
you don't know what it is?
Is that more? Oh, you're thinking about Frostgrave?
We did play it. We have a couple of videos.
We did, yeah.
Somewhere in depth of the channel.
Yeah.
But we never, like all these things, we only scratched the surface.
Yeah, I can't remember why we stopped playing that as well.
I think, again, that was time. And I think we might have started playing it around the time Underworld hit, and then that got about 500% more views.
Yeah, yeah. Approximately 1,000,000% more. I'd love to know how many views our Frostgrave video got now.
7.
I'm going to have to go look.
Yeah, actually, I noticed Kings of War Vanguard morph when I was looking for the Dead Zone. And the other thing that puts me off, just as an aside, puts me off Dead Zone is I get Dead Zone and Dreadball and Dread Zone and whatever muddled up all the time. So in my head, they're like one amorphous game, which doesn't help.
They're one enormous game.
Yes.
Yes, it's exactly what I
Symbols
said.
and Warcry is like a dream compared to the kill team geometry. Yes, I do see that, but I only have to learn that once. So it kind of worked. It's okay. It hasn't bothered me.
What's that? Sorry. What do you have to learn once?
Somebody's commented that the symbols in Warcry work like a dream compared with the kill team geometry, which I do see, but it's only one. It's only three symbols I have to learn, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, to be honest, yeah, I get that that's more of a bit of a joke comment, but yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Stargrave too. Yes, there is Stargrave as well. Speaking of kill team, there was a kill team event in Warhammer World this weekend, and the kill teams look amazing. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the kill teams are nice, especially the new models are nice, and the Dreadball Zone, exactly.
I mean, the kill team models for me were a real meh. They really missed for me. New kill team models. They did not excite me at all.
The new ones.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't excited by them, but I'm intrigued because I don't have any of them, and they're different. I'm definitely keen to play them and pick them up, and I've always wanted to paint a few Templars, so I can.
Oh, guess how many views our Frostgrave video has. Bearing in mind we released it around this time, September 7th, in 2017.
See, that's just before Shadespire came out.
Yeah.
How many views?
How many views do you reckon it's got?
236.
Oh no, it's more than that. It's more than that.
Oh, okay. 237.
Yes. No. It's got 530.
Okay.
And 9 thumbs up. Oh. Thank you to every single one of you who gave us a thumbs up there. And 2 comments. That's it. I mean, we got more on the latest Kill Team video in a day. So,
Right. Yeah.
I mean, maybe we get more if we redid it now. But again, I think it's just one of those things where it's just another system, and we just can't split how our. You know, we only get to play one game a week, basically.
Yeah, I think I wasn't really going to talk about this tonight, but I think if we were going to play, if we were going to do more systems, we'd have to not do battle reports.
Yeah.
And then play them and then talk about them, which there's some justification for doing because people seem to watch talking about the videos, the games, more than they watch the games.
Well, for our videos anyway.
For our videos, yeah. For our videos. So I don't know what that says, but yeah, I don't know whether that's because they're shorter or people. I mean, obviously, Harrow Deep is perhaps not a fair comparison because everybody was excited who played Underworlds was excited about Harrow Deep, so they want to see stuff about it.
Yeah, true. But then our Chaldath video did a lot less, so
yeah, exactly. So, but I think people are generally less interested in that, and obviously our demographic is Underworlds based.
Yeah, which is a shame when we're not playing Underworlds anymore.
But we will. It won't be long. Won't be long. We'll be back.
I don't know what we're doing on YouTube anyway. Okay, we'll just do videos each week of us just talking shit about whatever the fuck we like and zero effort.
31 of you watching it now.
Hey, God bless all of you nutters.
So was there anything else? So there was the Black Templars, Warcry, the
Blood Bowl.
Blood Bowl. So yeah, Blood Bowl, and then there was the Kill Team stuff and the Harrow Deep stuff. There wasn't anything else I've missed, was there?
Necromunda. There was the Necromunda gang.
Yes, of course, Necromunda.
Which I really liked those Necromunda gang models. I reckon they would be great for. I mean, you could use those for Chaos Cultists. You could use them even in like a Genestealer cult army or gang. You could obviously use them in Necromunda in various ways. They'd be useful in Kill Team as a guard sort of.
I think I really would like. That's a perfect example where they should release dual set of rules for the models. And I don't really understand why they don't do that because it would double their kind of.
Their pool, their target audience basically. Yeah,
and they are great models, and they could be just really fun. And I love the marketplace terrain.
Yeah,
the Only Fools and Horses market. Somebody mocked up, which was very funny. But yeah, it's really great. And they haven't really done anything like that before.
No, I think the last time they did
Well,
anything like
not
that,
in recent times.
the last time they did anything like that, I think was the Orc Terrain when they did like the mech workshop or something like that.
Right.
And there was like a, just a general. It was just general terrain. It had some orc mech sort of bits and bobs in it and stuff like that. But that was about it.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's a different setting. It'll be nice. I don't know what it's going to look, how big it is, how much of it's going to be, but it'll be a nice, different thing for all sorts of games, really.
Yeah. So, of everybody listening right now, what was your favourite Gen Con announcement? Stick it in the chat here, or if you're watching it later on, do stick it in the comments below. Let us know what it is you're most looking forward to. For me, it's a tough one for me. Obviously, I think Harrowdeep's going to have to be number one, because that's the one we're probably actually going to play. Kill Team was a bit, for me, I'm not that particularly interested in either Kill Team, although it might be good to get the campaign. Saying that, even if we do get the campaign, I mean, we've only played one campaign mission from the friggin' pack we got, and it's going to take us like the rest of the year to play through maybe another 4 or 5 of them. So
yeah, I mean, I guess we could keep going with these. Once we've played these 9, we could then go straight in with our existing kill teams into the new into the new missions, because they're not exactly model specific, so you could play with either. Because otherwise, it's going to get very confusing. But I quite liked it. I mean, obviously they also announced all the new starter set stuff, but didn't really give a hint as to how it's going to work going forward. Because I don't think. There's still no way of buying the Octarius book, is there, without buying the Octarius box? As far as we know.
No, not at the minute. Not at the minute. I'm assuming they are going to release it, because right now, right now you can't get it at all. So I assume they're going to release it at some point.
Yeah, well, I would hope so.
Yeah.
But it just, because I mean, otherwise, if you're going to have to buy the big box every time to get the missions, then that's going to break it for me. I think, because I don't. Even the Chalnath one, the scenery doesn't really interest me. Having already got some Imperial scenery, it's very boring. I'd love to have seen, somebody suggested on the video that they did some Tau outpost stuff. That would have been much more interesting. Just because it's different.
Chad Hubbard said he was said to have missed this last year at Gen Con. What was the attendance like? I have no idea. Do you?
No, I mean, I think it was busy. I think there was like half attendance size wise. They scaled it down, and it was busy, but not manic like it normally is. I mean, well, I've never been, because obviously it's quite a long way.
A bit of a trip.
But I think it was busy. Given the situation, it was as busy as it could be.
Yeah. 910, who I don't think we've seen comment before, so welcome and thank you for commenting, said that he liked the Necromunda models. They can be cultists, 5 parsec thugs, or Stargrave crew. Yeah, I mean, that was, they could be any of those things, really.
Yeah.
And more that comment was to you about the fact that I mostly agree that I think game system wise, GW always seem to screw something up and overcomplicate things, but models wise, they're still unsurpassed at the minute, if that's what you're talking about. Josh De Silva 3D says he's not sure if this counts, but he was interested to see that many people were looking at Catalyst games and BattleTech. I thought it really just a meme regarding the rise in popularity. I mean, we have some BattleTech. Still got that on the shelf to try and do it.
Funny enough, the Catalyst guy sent me an email, or not me, but he sent a group email to people saying that the new stuff was available. I wanted to review it. I still haven't got around to looking at the last stuff he sent me, so I can't really say yes to that. No. So I still don't really know very much about it. I know, VJ, you painted some up, but I again, it's one of those things that maybe eventually will get on the table. We really need to do that.
Entering them into our monthly Patreon competition.
Yes.
If anyone who wants to become a Patreon member, you can join, and you can get access to
the Patreon competition this month. Sorry, I took over you there, Pete. Sorry.
It's fine.
Say again.
I don't know what that's all I was talking about.
Basically, we have a competition every month, and if you're a patron, at whatever level, you can join, and then you get into the competition if you want. This month, it's a painting competition, a very simple one, which is to paint a model or group of models with using as few colours as possible.
Yeah.
And then the one that's best wins with allowance taken for the few. It's not like if you only use one colour, you win. But if you do a good job, if the number of colours used will be taken into account.
Yeah. Russell would enter the paint competition. The only problem is he doesn't paint. That can be a slight problem, But not every month is a painting competition. It's worth pointing out. Anybody who
No.
says thinks, God, I hate painting. It's all kinds of different competitions, so there's various options around.
Yeah, we just have to think of say we're not because it's in Patreon and you have to pay to be part of that bit. We're not allowed to sort of say, oh yeah,
We
just
can't
put it out
randomly
there.
pick
It has to
someone,
be has to be a competition element. So it's good fun thinking of those. There's been all sorts of things. From
Although
making up rude names for things to
invariably,
your own law to doing this painting one.
but invariably it's always torturous on us because then we have to pick one person out of everybody, and that's always a
that is tough.
struggle.
It's tough. Yeah.
Um,
So should we talk about Harrowdeep, or do you want to carry on?
we can certainly talk a bit about Harrowdeep. I mean, I noticed somebody mentioned that they were interested in the setting of Harrowdeep, but not necessarily the models themselves. I'm definitely interested in finding out what Harrowdeep brings with it.
Yeah, I mean, it was very. I was quite surprised how excited I got by it, having been completely. We just literally pretty much the day before, maybe not quite, but published that video saying that we're a bit fed up with Underworld. And then this came out. I was like, wow, Underworld is brilliant. And I think that's GW making that hype train work. But it just silly things. I think I mentioned this in the video we did about it. Just silly things like the fact that it's gone blue. It just changes it up a little bit.
Yeah, it really does. Just changing the colour suddenly makes it much more bright and vibrant again, and suddenly catches your interest. Yes, Rosa, Harrowdeep is season 5 of Underworlds, set in Ulgu, in a it says something like a dungeon underneath the sea or something like that.
I would like to be.
So it's the boards themselves are a really nice, striking blue shade. I'm really interested to see what being out of the Beast Grave will bring. So I was getting a bit tired of the whole beast, lore of beast and the realm of beast and that kind of
teeth and gnashing of teeth,
amber and bones and all that kind of thing. It was getting a little bit for me, and the thought of them doing another season in there was a real turn off. But now they've suddenly done this swap, and now we're in like these dungeons somewhere in Ulgu. Suddenly it's a bit more exciting again.
Yeah, no, I have a little reservation because it's under the water that there's going to GW are going to stuff it up in some way, and there'll be just because a dungeon under the water is inherently fraught with risk. if you see what I mean, and it's still not clear to me whether everything's wet or not, and I feel like that's got. I
mean, the board kind of looks like it's got some kind of water element to it, doesn't it? So
exactly. So I haven't quite feel that necessarily going to work, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. It doesn't really matter.
It's definitely. I'm just trying to look up the article again now to look at the actual board up close again, because I remember seeing it. I mean, it looks like it's just like a blue cavern type thing. So maybe that's how they've accessed it via a cavern under the sea and something, that kind of thing, maybe.
Yeah,
it definitely looks very striking, and it's very interesting to see where they're going to go with it now.
Yeah, the dotted outline hexes Ed's talking about here are they're pretty interesting. There's just silly things like that again. Marlowe's telling me I'm riding the wave of the news. Yeah, it's just like, oh, what do they do? And we've had lots of quite good suggestions on that on the video we did about it. So from teleportation hexes to things you can't shoot through but you can see through, and stuff like that. So I'm intrigued. Valentin suggested that because they were dotted lines, they were for cutting out. So you're going to cut them out, which I quite liked. And so there are many options.
There's a lot of different options there, and I'm intrigued to see there was a new token style we've got there with that broken shield thing.
Oh yes, well for the guard.
Yeah. So that's maybe a new mechanic, and that interests me. If they're going to add some new mechanics in, that could spice things up a bit.
Yeah, although again, that's how I find that double-edged, because the game doesn't really need any new mechanics.
That's true.
And
that's
so
true.
there's already one, isn't there? Because one of the cards that somebody photographed at Gencon, there was a Grievous sort of wound thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether that's going to be, I don't know what that's going to mean, but
There was the thing about putting a token on an
it was
objective
another
text,
token,
wasn't
almost
there?
like a desecration. We have got the faction cards, which will be interesting. Do I mean faction or do I mean alliance?
Oh yeah, the
Cards.
alliance.
So the Death Order chaos situation, which I could see it could be great, but then is it going to be retroactively fitted, and where's that going to fit in? And of course, the biggest worry slash I don't know, strangeness is, are the card backs going to be different?
It does seem very odd for them to change those card backs. It's just, especially when only a few months ago they released the Eternal Essentials pack.
I know that it just what's going on? I need that. I need the answer to that question.
Yeah.
Because the more I think about it, the more I think if that is the case, then that was just stupid.
Yeah.
If they have changed the backs, I don't understand why they're changing the backs sleeved. Yeah, you can sleeve it, but you shouldn't have to sleeve it to play the game.
Yeah. Also, sleeves are shit.
Yeah. GW don't even sell sleeves now either, do they?
No, they don't. So you've got to
it's
go.
not even like they're adding on that. It's not even that they're adding to their own. I mean, unless they will now. Our sleeves didn't sell very well. What can we do about that? Well, let's change the backs of the card so everybody has to buy the sleeves. Real interesting move. But yeah, Wolfman Gaz just said the same thing. But I don't know. I don't know whether that's just going to be a different format, but who knows? But it just is an odd thing to do.
It is a very bizarre thing to do. I mean, oddly though, I know a lot of people are like, Stormcast, but they haven't had Stormcast in a starter set, like one of the main season starts. Obviously, they keep putting them in those little random offshoot starter sets, but in the main 4 seasons, they haven't had Stormcast for 2 of them, the last 2. So I don't mind seeing the return of the Golden Boys, because there were no Stormcast at all in either of the 2 main seasons. Again, obviously, there was those 2 little random offshoot piece of shit boxes that they did, but the main 4 seasons they've only appeared in 2 of them, so I don't mind seeing their return because they actually look okay.
Yeah, and I think the models are good. I know people have commented that they don't like the face of the leader, but I think the models are good. They're interesting. They're more dynamic than most of the Stormcast models,
and they're varied.
Yeah,
3 different Stormcast for once.
I think I actually prefer those to the Cruel Boys. Although I do like the sort of cage hats of the Cruel Boys, cool. But yeah.
I did see someone comment that they weren't going to buy the box, and then they saw the head on the woman with the lantern, and then they decided they weren't going to buy it. It's like, if you're going to base your decision on buying a game on one model's face, then you're very shallow.
Yeah,
that's all I've got. And another thing that we've said about it, obviously one of the big things, is that there's over 200 less cards in there.
Yes,
which I'm very interested in.
That is exciting.
That I'm possibly almost more excited about than the boards, to see what they're going to be doing with this much reduced set of card options.
Yes, and the promise of Rivals format, how that's going to tie into the game, and whether that's going to tie into there being less cards and that kind of thing. I mean, it's interesting. There are less cards, and then also you've got more diversity is the wrong word, but you've got more groupings. So you've got the alliance grouping as well as the faction grouping and the universal grouping. So but you've got less cards for them to put things into that group, which is interesting in itself, I think.
Brad P says he only have Sigmarines from Crypt Hunters games. Those Sigmarines look sort of like an up-armoured dungeon crawler here. They do. I think that's why I like the newer Stormcast in this box, because they look like individuals. They don't just look like these gold automata, beep boop, almost robot type things.
I think they realised the mistake they made, and I think they've gradually unpicked it since when they rebooted them and tried to make them look like the Space Marines. I think they realised that actually that wasn't the thing that people didn't like about Warhammer Fantasy Battle, and so I think they've got gradually more and more of them appear without their helmets on. They've appeared more and more like ordinary human beings. So I think, and to a degree, I think, although I don't follow it that closely, but 40k has gone the same way, and there's a lot of sword wielding people without helmets on in the new, from what I've seen in the newer marine models. And so despite the illogicalness of having swords in the 41st millennium,
And shields.
a lot of them wear swords and shields. A lot of them wield them now.
Ed has said that if they streamlined it, it does make Future Underworlds more appealing. Yeah, I'm interested to see what this Rivals format that they mentioned, where you just pick up a deck and play with it. And I'm hoping it's not just basically what they were doing in Season 3 and 4, which is here's 32 faction cards, you can use those. Because that'd be shit. That would literally be them just selling you the thing they've already sold you and making it out like it's better now. But I am looking forward to seeing what they've done with that.
Yeah, I hope so. I am looking forward to it. I hope it's more balanced.
Yeah.
More balanced.
Yeah. Yeah, some balance would be good. Although, I mean, the old game wasn't too bad, but the main aspect that made the game a bit testing for me was the deck building side. I'm hoping that maybe they've done away with that a little bit.
Yeah, it's a curious thing, because obviously we always could have played with minimal deck building and just the cards in the box. But I think because of the way they were slightly unbalanced, it never felt like that was the right way to play.
Yeah.
So it's like an official sanctioned Rivals version which just uses a slimmer pot of cards. Then that feels like a better thing to do than to try and play with everything.
Yeah.
Whereas at the moment, because it's not codified, it didn't feel like that. Whereas Vanguard, I think we did enjoy. So I was quite intrigued actually. I was listening to the Path to Glory podcast, and Aman, I think it was Aman or maybe Jonathan, one of them anyway, really didn't like Vanguard. Thought it was pointless.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. I felt, because I feel very much it's essentially the same game with just slightly less choice. So I could see why, if you're the only person playing Vanguard, everybody else playing Champions is a bit crap. But in and of itself, it's no different.
I remember that bit in the article, because they were saying, they were of the opinion that they thought that if people had the choice, they would play either Championship or the Alliance format, whatever that was. Yeah. I was thinking, I've never even heard of Alliance format. I have, but I've never had any interest or compunction to ever thinking about playing in the Alliance format. And Championship's okay, but actually I prefer Vanguard too. I mean, obviously you only talk about what you know about, and and I know that
maybe it's a more competitive mindset, but to me the game is no different, and in and of itself it's no different to playing. If everybody's playing Vanguard, it's just as good a game.
Yeah.
If everybody's playing Championship. So just interested that he really didn't rate it at all.
Yeah, I mean, I felt almost like Season 4 in Vanguard was one of the better ways to play it now, because you had that balance just built into the season.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely has a flaw. Vanguard has a flaw at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
When you have only got 2 or 3 or 4 warbands to play. And of course you can round that if you've played a lot by the fact that Championship isn't really that different to the previous seasons. Vanguard at that point. So if you've got previous seasons, you can play. Still play a good variety of games.
And the other thing, of course, is the fact that because there's only 308 cards in there, that's if you're going to have 32 faction cards per warband and there are 8 warbands, that's already 256 of them. That leaves you less than, only just over 50 more cards to do something with, unless of course they're going to not have 32 faction cards per warband now. Maybe they'll reduce that down.
But then that would change the game completely. So I feel like if there's going to be a Rivals format, I feel like there have to be, unless there are certain staples that are in every deck. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's one of the things that's maybe just that reduction in cards alone has made me suddenly go, what are they going to do? That in itself is interesting me almost more.
They could go the other way completely. I'm sure they won't, but they could go the other way, and the Rivals format could be 32 standard cards, universal cards that play well with any of the new decks. Can't really see that working, but it could be done that way.
I mean, I personally would love it if the individual warbands just had faction cards with them, and then you wouldn't have that pressure of, the fish elves have come out. I'm going to have to buy them because I need the cards. I don't really fucking like the models, or they've done this. It just kind of always made that part of the game much more painful.
It's kind of saying the same.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind them doing a set of universal cards like they did the I can't remember what
Essentials.
The Essentials pack. I don't mind them doing that because it's a standalone pack of cards that you can just buy if you want it, but you don't have to worry about the vampires come out now. I can't get hold of the vampires because they've sold out everywhere. Now I can't get some of the cards I actually want to be able to play them. That kind of thing. Yeah.
As long as they don't change the card base.
Yeah, that's the question, right? So.
Yeah, the Essentials. I mean, I think maybe that's going to play into Rivals format. You buy this and the Essentials. I don't know, and then play. We're just speculating now, but they were a funny set of cards, those Essentials, because some of them are rubbish and some of them are really strong. And I feel like if you're going to play competitively, you probably need that deck, because some of the cards are just better than the cards that existed elsewhere in the game.
Yeah, but again, that's another thing which appeals to me, the idea that they might be having this newer format, this Rivals format, where you don't necessarily go to them, you don't use those Essentials, you just use what's in that season.
Yeah.
And that really appeals to me.
Yeah.
So, other than that, that was one of the big releases. The other one is obviously Kill Team. Should we talk a little bit about Kill Team?
Yeah. We have already. One other thing they could do is that they could do little blocks of types of cards. So you get like X number of probably 32 objective cards, and then 32 control cards and 32 aggro cards, and then you can pick and choose one and put it with the warband. So you pick which warband you want, you take the player style and plug it in and play. That would be another interesting idea. And obviously some warbands it would work better than others, but that would be a bit of a challenge. Can you win with control Garrix? Probably not.
No. I think
that would add some extra challenge for those people who like a challenge, and there's a few people out there who want to win with every warband. Well, trying to win it with every warband in the control play style would be the next level up of that challenge, wouldn't it?
I think part of the problem when they had, because they brought in obviously faction cards came from the start, and they just tried to create some flavourful cards for that warband that only that warband had, but it hasn't really worked so well until like season 4, where the warbands all have where each warband, and a bit of season 3 as well, where each warband has their own shtick, their own thing. I mean, especially with like the vampires, or with the hunger mechanic, or with the like Canaan's Reaper, primacy with the orcs, tithe counters with Canaan's Reapers, all that kind of thing. Once a warband has its shtick, and they have cards to back that up, then then suddenly you have more interest in wanting to take those cards. Or the Reavers, Kagra's Reavers, Ravagers rather, they've got that despoil mechanic, so you've got lots of ploys in there to help you with that and objectives based around that. Once they start making each warband have a thing that they are wanting to do as an aside to also playing the game and killing people and catching objectives, it makes those faction cards more useful or more relevant. Whereas in previous seasons it was just cards to make you hit better or whatever.
I think it's fine, except when they're self-contained. I think it's fine. But when like the hunger mechanic and the primacy mechanic bleed out into the rest of the game, so obviously that has an effect initially because the Aurochs can take advantage better of the primacy cards that exist within the universal pool, but then down the line those are going to be taken out as they rotate out, and so then you've got the opposite problem. I mean, like, I don't know, I haven't looked at all, but I don't know how the vampires are going to fare on their hunger stuff once all the hunger cards have rotated out from Chasm. I feel like they probably, I mean, still they might be an okay warband, but I think the ability to play hunger is probably completely destroyed in a way that even the primacy mechanic, it won't be destroyed for the orcs because they have got some quite good faction cards.
I think
so. I feel like it's better to have it self-contained within the like the desecration mechanic, regardless of whether it works or not. Ignoring that for the moment, is entirely isolated to Kagras.
Yeah.
Similarly, the fish entirely isolated to Soul Raid, and I think that works, but I'm not sure it's so good when they bleed it out.
John's done the maths. He says 52 faction cards per warband plus around 52 universal cards is 308 cards. Maybe.
Yeah.
52 seems an odd number for universals, but who knows? It's hard to tell with GW.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say, very interested to see what they're going to do with that, and I'm hoping for an option which gives you much less deck building if you so choose to play it like that.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because that will alienate the Magic the Gathering dudes, which I think this game was originally designed to bring in.
Possibly, very possibly.
So I mean, we did have a comment somewhere along the line. I can't remember which video it was on, but basically saying how much they enjoyed it. They enjoyed the deck building. They enjoyed fiddling with the decks all night.
I think there are a lot of people that do enjoy doing that, and I think that is a big pull of the game. So they will have to be careful to make sure that they don't.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I guess you can't make a game that pleases everybody all the time.
No.
I feel like somebody said that before, but.
No, I'm sure we probably came up with that first, so I think it's okay. It's
not necessarily a lot of Magic the Gathering piece net deck. Well, okay, yeah, I suppose if you've got somebody else to do the work for you, then I suppose that's okay. But then maybe that's I don't know. Net decking's another whole topic of conversation. I mean, personally, I don't enjoy it because I don't understand. I guess if you play it over and over, you might get to understand it. If I picked up a deck, unless it's really easy to play, then if I don't understand how it works, then I tend to screw it up.
Yeah. I mean, we've been there when we've both taken decks from online tournament and then played them on our channel, and then quite often one of us will have an absolute mare of a game where we just don't actually know what it is we're doing at all.
Yeah, we've had some decks which just work. It doesn't matter what you do, it just works, and they're the really, really good ones, I suppose. But then there are other times I've taken them, not so much the high-ranking ones in competition, sort of slightly mid-ranking ones when I've wanted to play Hrothgorn, say, but I had time to put a deck together, and I've screwed that up because I completely misunderstood how the deck was meant to work.
As we said, use a net deck as a base for ideas, then make it your own. I mean, that assumes that I have any time or desire to want to make it my own at all. I've not got any of that anymore.
I do, but what I tend to find is I end up just reverting to type. So I take out all the cards that I don't normally use and put all the cards back in that I do normally use, and then it's just I might as well just I'm back to where I started again. Or I take out the cards and then wreck it. And then find that you don't work anymore, but only find it out mid-game.
I should have kept those cards in. Now I realise why I've got those cards were there.
Yeah, exactly.
I think if you're going to play multiple games, then you can do that. You can take a net deck, you can chop and change it around a bit. You can play it, and then you can chop and change it around a bit more. But I think this is just one of the problems that we have as content creators. We can't do that.
No, we certainly the way our time and schedule, we can't.
Yeah. It's just in the lottery, so I can just spend all day playing games.
In the lottery, I'll just give up work. Sure, it'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll just get the wife to turn tricks. We could probably make enough money to live off still.
Yeah, I'm not even going to answer.
I'm not going to touch that one.
Yeah, it's
unfortunately, that's what they all say. That's why we're not going to make any money. I noticed that GW have done a 5 things you need to know about Kill Team Chalnath.
I saw that. I read it, and at best there were 3.5 things.
I think you're being generous there as well, really.
Yeah, at best, yeah.
It was nice to see that there was a stat card in there for one of the novitiates. So it's nice to see what they're going to be like. They're going to be very similar to Guard in woundage and saves going to be a little bit better and stuff. But
Well, Ed's asked, and he's asked this twice now, so he clearly wants us to answer it.
Go on.
I feel odd that the Kill Team are releasing a new starter box already. I wonder how many dual boxes they have planned. Yeah, I wasn't expecting a starter box. I was expecting the Octarius book separately and the Kill Team separately. That's what I was expecting.
Yeah,
and maybe a terrain box, but probably not.
I'm quite surprised we haven't seen a terrain box yet. Actually, I thought that was going to be a definite. Was the Orc terrain in the box?
Yeah, somebody made the point, I don't know how true this is, that the terrain is that you do get in the starter box is very not anti-Krieg, but it plays into the Orcs' hands more because there aren't any vantage points and things.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, it does definitely favour the Orcs. They'll be able to...
I'm not sure the Orcs, having played a couple of games, I'm not sure the Orcs need any favours.
Because the Orcs have the ability where they can charge from being
concealed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they can just keep running up behind terrain, concealed the whole way, so guard can't shoot them whatsoever, and then just charge.
Yeah. Brad P says the starter box is weird with no vantage points. There you go. I suppose that's a cost thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
They just wanted cheaper terrain, but it seems odd.
I guess it's not meant to be a standalone game to be played. It's just a starter to get you hooked, and then
yeah, and then, but it's interesting. It's got a starter book, so with some tester missions and things in it. I think it's a good idea because that is definitely lacking from Octaris. It is a bit throwing in the deep end. So I'd be interested to see how they play. Well, probably won't, but it will be interesting to see how they play. But yeah, I mean it's an interesting release, and they are releasing the boxes separately as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
So they'd be great to pick up if you want to expand your kill team. I actually picked up some Cadians anyway, and have expanded my kill team, so I'm not sure whether I shall go for another set of Krieg.
Not sure you need them.
I'm not sure I do.
You built all the ones you needed. You've got a plasma gun guy now.
Yeah, I could possibly more. I mean, I suppose I need 20 altogether, but I can probably club 20 together, or get 20 together roughly. I suppose the Krieg need 24. I suppose
you don't ever need 24.
No, you don't. So the spares I could just use.
Yeah.
If I ever use the veteran guardsman or whatever.
One thing somebody did point in our kill team video actually was, are the 4 guard that you get, aren't they part of your 20 or?
Yeah, I don't know. That I didn't. It's one of those things. I've never occurred to me that they were.
Yeah.
So so I'll just explain that a bit more clearly. So when you play the kill team, when you play the Krieg kill team, you can get ancillary support, and that can either be a couple of bombardment options or 4 extra guard. And we had a comment on one of our videos saying, shouldn't the 4 extra guard be from your roster? And I think it never occurred to me that they should be. I think mainly because you don't have the guns on your roster in any way, shape or form. And so I just thought, well, they're effectively just some other dudes from this guard contingent, and instead of manning the guns, they've come out to help you. And they're box standard, so I just thought they were just sort of fawn, faceless, literally in the case of the Krieg, grunts.
We'll have to check up on that one.
But I don't know. I haven't gone back to reread it actually to check.
Anyone who's watching now, let us know if you do know, or if you're watching this afterwards, then do comment. Morph says he might consider picking up one of the kill teams for one of the dual faction boxes. Hits the sweet spot of 2 factions that he already collects. I am surprised that they're doing. I mean, we knew they were going to be doing new boxes with 2 kill teams in each, and I don't see them keeping things like Chalnath in stock forever. So at some point they're going to have to release the Sisters and the Tau separately, and then they're going to have to release the book separately as well, the Chalnath book, I would have thought. Or else, how else are you going to get the rules for these kill teams?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether they could do a compendium at the end of the year with like all of them, because it's not that much writing.
No, true.
But it is odd. It is odd the way they have done it, I think.
Yeah, I was like we said, it's very strange that they released this other starter box, and I was expecting it to be just the book and the two separate kill teams, and then maybe the scenery. But yeah, it's weird. Yeah,
Wolfman Gas says unless they release rules of the individual kill team, yeah, that's another option. I think Pete, you were pretty sure they weren't going to do that.
I'm pretty certain they won't ever. Well, we know that the Orc ones and the Krieg ones don't. So
Do we?
Or at least they didn't make any mention that you
No,
got all
that's
the
true. They
rules in
didn't
there
say
with
that.
it.
They didn't say that they did.
I would have thought they would crow about that at the same time as, when you buy these, you get all the rules in the box to play this kill team. So I'm pretty certain they don't.
Yeah. So yeah, the annual makes sense since they've already dropped the AdMech kill team and White Dwarf. Yes, again that'd be another reason to do it and do a little annual. It's quite. I bought the White Dwarf today. It's quite good, that article. If you want to play AdMech, if you don't, it's rubbish. John Selby says he likes the fact they haven't had a Marine kill team release. Yes, definitely. I think that's really good. So I mean, although Pete, you weren't excited by the Novitiate versus Tau option, it's better than Necrons versus Marines, or Marines versus something.
It's better than Marines versus something. I will give you that, and for that at least, it's a good thing. Yeah, I'll agree there. I'd like to see maybe Mechanicus versus Necrons or something, but I feel that because White Dwarf has already had that article come out, everyone's like, I don't think they're going to do Mechanicus now for a while.
No, I don't think so. Nids, John Grant wants to see Nids. I would definitely think that would be cool. And they could even push the boat out a little bit, couldn't they, and bring out a new style of Nid. Do something new.
I'd love to see Eldar. I'd love to see a new Eldar kill team with striking scorpions in it, because it baffles me that the one aspect that is all about sneaking forwards behind enemy lines, the striking scorpions aren't in the kill team.
Yeah, I was totally expecting that sort of thing in the first box.
Yeah,
obviously I was totally wrong.
So even maybe Howling Banshees, although part of their thing is the fact they're really, really loud, so that kind of wouldn't work in their stealth situation. But then they just get, like Guardian, Storm Guard. I can't remember what they're called now. Dire Avengers. It's like, why? It's just the most bland option.
Yeah. ER910 says he hopes that the rules for the commandos is in the team box. It makes no sense to brand the box and not include the team rules. But that is true.
I agree.
Point, but I'm not sure GW will do it.
No.
But time will tell.
I mean, they have done it before with like Warcry. They gave you all the cards for the Warcry warband that you're buying. Underworlds, you buy the warband and it has all the cards in it for that. I don't see them doing it for Kill Team, because I don't think they've ever done it for a 40k sort of offering.
I mean, they should do, really. If you want to make this product new player friendly, it should be you buy the box, you get the rules to play with the models that are in the box. I mean, that is how Marvel Crisis Protocol works, how Star Wars Legion works. So you still need to know, or have somebody who knows how the main rules work. But you buy the box and you get what you need to play. Because at the end of the day, if you're a new player, you can buy this box and I don't know how much they're going to be, £30-40. Can I play the game? Oh no, you can't play the game. You've got to get the core rules, and you've got to also get this box, which isn't actually available, but you can get it.
Yeah, it's back
right
now.
Who knows what they do, but why they do what they do. So I don't know what they're going to do, but I mean, really, the rules should be in the box. If you're looking at it from a new player point of view, which I normally do, if you can't go and buy a box off the shelf and take them home and play them, then
it's crap.
For a game like Kill Team, it's a bit shit.
Yeah, Brad P says the individual boxes of 40k players, but the Tau one aren't, and the Sisters of Battle one won't be, because they don't have rules for those yet. I mean,
no.
Obviously, yeah, the Krieg ones and the Commando ones, people will buy them and put them in their 40k armies, but at the same time, they don't fit a specific troop choice. You can't, for your Astra Militarum, you can't buy a squad of 10 men with such a random higgledy-piggledy set of weapons and stuff. So it is primarily a Kill Team release, and they should have the rules for being able to play them in Kill Team in the
maybe
box.
they will. Maybe they will. We don't know.
I think I'd probably put money on that they won't.
John says the Warcry ones did, because they came with all the cards and everything, didn't they?
I said that.
Did you?
I did.
You said that. When did you say that?
Like
no,
5
John said
minutes
it.
ago.
John said it. It wasn't you. It was John. No, it was John. I got it in writing here, and there's no point in going back and playing the video tomorrow to show me, because I'm not listening. It says in writing there. So the new Slime Arrow had his rules in the box as well, apparently.
I'm
Well, they're
still,
presumably out of date now.
I'm still not convinced that they'll show up in the box. I agree they should,
I don't know.
and I think that would be the right way of doing it, which is why I don't think GW will do it.
Ed asked a question somewhere.
Handbags, that's what he asked.
Are all of the factions in the 2 starter sets get to get their own box? Well, the first 2
are. The 2? What?
So are the first? So basically, are the 4 kill teams that have been released? Are they all going to get their own boxes? So yeah. So the first 2 are. So you can get the starter box both in, or you can get individual boxes. I assume the Chalnath kill teams will get their own boxes afterwards too, but I don't know.
Yeah, nothing to say that's definite. Brad Pierce said that the starter has the Octarius model rules. I mean, they didn't expressly point that out, but yes, we can probably safely assume they do. However, it still seems crap to me that you might go out and buy Chalnath, for example, and then think, oh, actually, I quite fancy playing the Krieg now, but then you've got to go buy the starter box.
Which might not be available the way GW through these. I mean, I guess that's going to be around for a while, but it just seems
I can't see it being around for that long because they'll have the starter box one, then they'll have the Chalnath one. In 3 months' time, they're going to have another one, and then in 3 months they're going to have another one. They're not going to be able to keep all those in the shops. I don't see them keeping them all boxes of that size, of that scale on the shelves.
No.
Or in stock.
So, yeah. I mean, I think I would like to think you would get the rules you need to play with your models. I mean, that is the modern way of doing stuff, even if it hasn't always been that way. But I mean, they used to be on the back of the box back in the day.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Brad P. also mentioned he reckons that the individual models, the 4 models you get, he thinks they come from your sheet as well.
Okay.
Which kind of will make sense that you have to make sure you've got not 4 regular sort of guard options on there to pick from. I guess that's the one drawback.
Yeah, it's interesting because that's match play, and I can see it in match play more than in narrative play.
Yeah, true.
Because you can only have 10 to start off with in narrative play. You start off with 10 models, so it means you can't field.
It's a good point. Are you just not able to?
Well,
use
you could
that?
buy 4 actually. You could use 4 requisition points and buy 4, so you could do it, but it's a bit shite.
That's a good point. That is a good point. Yeah.
And depending on what your narrative is for your kill team, it may not actually make any sense to have them at all, or indeed the support options. So
yeah. Brad P has also said the Tau sister box will be a splash box, not stock. Yeah, again, if they're going to do that, they'll release the sisters and the Tau separately later on. But where are you going to get the rules for those? Because they won't keep the main box. So are they just going to release the Chalnath book later on? Are they just going to release the Octarius book on its own later on so you can get the rules for those kill teams? Because they've got to do something like that to continually support these warbands being available. And if they're not going to do that, they're just going to release a splash box. Here's the sisters and the Tau. 10 months, 12 months down the line, we're not stuck in that anymore. You can't buy the rules from separately anywhere. That would be shit. Frankly.
Yeah.
That would be really, 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 really shit. Not that I want either, but for somebody new comes into it, that would they'll be like, oh, those sister models look really nice. I'd like to buy them. Oh, you can't. You can't get the rules from anymore.
We're a little bit in that situation with Underworlds, aren't we? We've talked about that before. So, I mean, they're around for 2 years. They're not even around for 2 years, are they? Because they send the Dark Chasm stuff they don't make after it comes out, and then it stops. So you can still get it if you can find.
Up to about 2 years, I think, depending on when the Warband comes out. At worst, maybe 14 or so months.
So we are in that situation there, where stuff exists but you can't buy.
A little bit, but you have seasons, don't you, with Underworld? So it's a bit more acceptable there. Whereas
I suppose these are similar in the sense that they are campaign boxes. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying they have previous. Is really what I'm saying.
Yeah, possibly.
Change stuff to enable them printing a book of updated stats yearly. Anyway, that is probably true.
Possibly.
There will be a yearly something, won't there? For
almanac or something like that. Maybe they'll do an annual thing for all the stats. I mean, I'm trying to think what they did for like Necromunda. So maybe they'll do individual books for the different things, like Chalnath book and a Tarius book and whatever, and then they'll do like a big annual update of it or something. I don't know. Just the thought of them releasing the Sisters box, and then 6, 9, 12 months down the line just saying, we're sold out, you can't get them anymore. Here's an individual kill team of the Sisters, but you can't get rules for them.
It's going to cost us money, isn't it? Well, I guess at the moment, like as you said, there's absolutely no point in selling the Sisters without rules because you can't use them in any other game.
Yeah.
So unless, I mean, they might bring those out, I suppose, because they do also do that, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah, possibly.
Release rules and stuff, but yeah, I guess we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. I mean, I'm all for everything being included with everything, but GW seem to plough their own furrow.
Blood Bowl 2016 got yearly rule collections. Yeah, I kind of didn't like that because it was just annoying that they just keep releasing stuff piecemeal. And then they did that with Necromunda. We were just lucky enough to be really on the tail end of it, that they released all the different house books, and then they released one big compendium of all the house books. So maybe that's the way they'll go. But they did release the individual house books, so that would still, suggest that they'll release the Chalnath book or the Octarius book, which would then give you access to all of the course, the Octarius Chalnath specific campaign missions and whatnot. I don't know. Yeah.
And in 6 months' time, we won't even remember the names. Octarius and Chalnath. We'll be talking about whatever the new ones are.
Or a completely different game system, knowing us.
Well, possibly, yeah. Possibly. Right. It's 5 minutes to 11. I can't believe 8 minutes to 11. I can't believe we managed to rattle on.
I'm not too surprised, and thank you to everybody who has stayed tuned in. There's 30 of you out there.
30 people watching. 31 people watching, which is lovely. We need to give away something so we can get it higher. But it's been really, really great to have everybody here again this evening. And
if our rant, our jibber jab, our nonsense has been of like, then do please give us that thumbs up. And if you aren't already, obviously subscribe and ring
tell your friends, tell your friends, tell your friends' cats.
Yeah.
Your friends' cats, your friends' mothers, cats' mothers, whatever.
Because we do need the support at the minute. We are severely suffering.
Well, we sort of say we haven't flatlined because we're actually peaked. We've peaked, but other channels are available, and those channels are getting more views than us. So we would like we would like to catch them up, please.
Yeah. I mean, and I wouldn't mind if it didn't look like they were releasing exactly the same content as us.
Please, can you please actually just tell everybody to watch us, because when Pete realises this, he then behind the scenes sends me depressive messages about how terrible it all is, and how YouTube hates us and things like that. And it's hard work.
YouTube does hate us.
It's hard work. So for me, could you please tell everybody you know how brilliant Age of Sigmar is, and so they can watch it, and I therefore don't get it in the ear the day after we've released a video.
Better than the ear than in the rear. I guess, unless that's what you're into, in which case, whichever way you like.
We still put out the best content apparently from Wolfman Gaz. Well done, Wolfman. Checks in the post.
Unfortunately, by the time we've paid off all of these people, we're in a deficit.
Yeah.
So next week, I think this week we were going to originally talk about what kill teams we'd like to see coming up. Maybe we'll save. Well, not maybe we'll save that for next week. We're certainly not covering that this week now. Maybe we'll talk about that next week, unless GW decide to dump something else in the meantime.
Who knows with GW? Like, it could be exciting news. I mean, I feel like Underworld seasons tend to be released at the end of September, so they might even be chucking more stuff at us from a Harrow Deep perspective by this time next week for us to talk about.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, sometimes I think, crap, I haven't put these up and prepared them yet till like Sunday night or Monday night. And then quite often by like Sunday night, GW dumps something out. And I'm like, well, I'm glad I didn't organise anything, because we certainly wouldn't be talking about that now. So maybe it's a good thing. Maybe
disorganised.
Mate, quick comment, quick question to everybody watching right now. Because I suspect a lot of you out there are die-hard watchers who are there ready every Tuesday anyway, whatever we're covering. I wonder whether we should just say Tuesday night we're going to do hobby chat and not have a subject. Because I don't think having a subject really increases or decreases our viewage.
No, not unless the subject is giving away a copy of Indomitus.
Yeah.
Um,
Even in that situation, even we're going to get more views. But I don't know if having a subject actually makes any difference. So maybe just having a general hobby chat, Tuesday night chat, and then not make it specific.
Hobby chat. We've got one vote from Unaided Foot.
Well done, Unaided Foot. Checks in the post.
Hobby chat.
Obviously, anybody watching who isn't a patron, maybe check that out as well. You get access to our Discord and our monthly competitions and our TTS tournaments and all that good stuff, which is great fun.
John says Harrow Deep for the 9th of October, ready for his and Matt's birthday. It's the channel birthday on the 10th of October, so the 9th of October would be quite nice.
Yeah. Got a little video to put out on our birthday where we show off.
5 years old.
Show
5 years old.
Can't believe it's 5 years. Imagine what
Well,
we could have done in that
video
5
getting new
years.
people in though. That's true. I think it means no. It's just tough. I think it means no. Yeah, that is true. Well, title videos do get new people in.
That is true, but I don't think they get them in for us because
No,
we don't seem to get that.
Andy always
Viewers.
calls his the hobby hangout, doesn't he?
Yeah, but does he always call it the hobby hangout, or does he have different? He always has
Does he
different
have hobby
titles. I
hangout?
thought he has two. I think he has two.
Well, I know he has two, but one of them isn't. One of them just the hobby hangout.
I think the Wednesday one was like a hobby
extra
hangout where he
name?
just paints or whatever, and the Monday one is like a specific subject about things. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it matters what we call these, because I don't think it has any kind of pull whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, that said, Ed is right. When we're having a theme, at least keeps us vaguely on track.
I'm not saying we shouldn't have a theme. We just don't necessarily need to announce what that theme is in the title of the videos.
Oh.
We could just have a Tuesday night chat, and then when we get online, we can just say tonight we're going to talk about whatever it is.
The work of Kierkegaard.
Yeah, I mean, it is like clickbait titles, but it doesn't seem to matter even when we. I don't know. It doesn't seem to matter what we do. Is basically it.
I did not read that as titles.
Clickbait
I
cities.
do not think that will bring people in.
John Selby says he would like to discussion on what we'd see like for Kill Team, so maybe that will be next week's what we'd like to see in Kill Team, what we'd like to see
Okay,
expanded
yeah,
on.
we could do that. We better actually think about some things we'd like to see. But yes, that'll be good. Everybody bring their favourite kill team, what they want to see.
Sterling Northam says we're still the best. Thank you, Sterling.
Thank you, Sterling. Brilliant. That's really lovely to hear.
It is very nice to hear, because it doesn't feel like it sometimes.
I have to say, we do get some lovely comments on our videos.
We do.
And Pete's going, oh, it's terrible. I go, but look, this person said we're great. He says, setting up another account. Typing.
Furiously.
That chap with the beard is particularly handsome.
Right, so next Tuesday, probably going to be Kill Teams. What would you like to see in Kill Teams? So I should try and get that set up. But thank you everybody for joining us this evening, and do stay safe and well out there.
Yes, yeah, take care everybody. I know still the world is crazy, so I hope you're all doing okay wherever you are. And we will see you next week. This week we are recording game 2 of our Kill Team campaign, which is going to be the fuel drop.
Yep, fuel drop.
Quite looking forward to that.
Already got the fuel cans ready.
Ooh.
Can't really focus there because my camera's crap. Anyway,
Well, that's good enough. It's good enough. Looking forward to those. Looking forward to playing that. And we'll be back next week, live and exciting.
from the studio bedroom. See you soon.